We've got a treat for you. We are going to shock the world with what you're getting ready to see. We have got a music agent, a guy that's cranking out 60, 70 hours a week. And guess what? He only gets to train 3 days a week, and he is only doing 3 lifts a week. 1 lift per day, 3 times a week, and wait till you see this physique. So we're going to dive into the leg portion of what he's done over the last, what, 12 weeks for Brice?
12 weeks.
Yeah. So, hey, Brice came in sharper, better than ever. He's been training with Mike for 7 years, implementing the power bodybuilding mentality mindset. You're getting to see it at its peak.
That's it, guys. And I'm going to explain through all these videos why Brice, training 3 days a week, got in better shape than everybody else. Knees open. There you go. Down. Up. There you go. 5 reps again. 2. Nice. Again, 3. Good speed. 4. Nice. And last one. Good rapid beat.
Hey, help me out with the box squats, that is. So, my athletic world, we sit down in the box and then come out with pop. You had him sitting, almost setting, and then coming out slow.
On this
Coach.
one, I'm using it more for measuring so we can make sure that we keep his flexibility and good range of motion.
Okay.
Again, this is somebody that works a full-time job. This is not his lifestyle. He just wants to be in shape. So how can I take somebody and make sure that we continue to have range of motion, which is longevity? You know, as an athlete, you start getting stiff as you get older and less motion, and then suddenly years on years pack on.
So the box forces your depth, and then you're making him hold that position of depth for stability. What's the thought process behind kind of almost the pause down there in that stretched open position?
Most people will do a squat and they'll move through it quickly, and there's not a lot of mind to muscle. And so you'll see guys year after year going in, but there's no leg development. So I'm slowing him down to a speed where there's 100% leg development, no explosion, and he's isolating and flexing those fibers as he's training. Makes it that much harder, but also you don't need to use as heavy weight, and you can stay injury-free.
I like the part you said about the heavy weight. So basically you're restricting the momentum, kind of taking all of the, say, explosive power out of it and really maximizing gravity, because you're sitting there at the bottom and then you're taking a lighter load that actually feels heavier because you've taken the momentum out.
Exactly. What we're going to do is we're going to do a little switch up now.
Okay.
Now, you're an athlete, so you understand box squats are usually used for down, and they rock into position and then rock out. Or go down and touch and then explode up.
Okay.
So I changed it a bit for what, for me and the people I train around the world would do, is to come down in still a controlled state of sitting, but still flexing the muscles, but a moderate relax, and then a flex out of the bottom instead of an explosion.
Gotcha.
And that for a couple reasons. One is I don't want the torque on the body as you get older and older and older. Second thing is I have found true explosion comes off of that relaxation into motion instead of continuously using motion.
Gotcha.
You're a fullback. At no point did you come from a moving position when they hike the ball. You come from a dead stop.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to teach these guys.
Anything position of the bar on an athlete's back. So where you have it placed on Brice's back, would that change for what you're trying to teach here? Would that bar position change, or do you want it more of a low box or a low bar squat?
For this, I would go low bar.
Okay.
You can go high bar, but it changes things because right now we're going such a good depth with a wide stance, which I'm trying to help him develop the glutes and hamstrings. I know most people think a squat is quad. It's actually the hamstrings and glute if done correctly, and mostly this position here. So we'll do this again, but we're going to take it down. We're going to pause for a second, and then you're going to be able to see the muscles firing as he comes up instead of that explosion.
Good. So we'll shoot it from the side. We're going to give you guys all the angles you want so you can see exactly what Mike is talking about. you're going to see a hamstring glute dominant squat versus a quad dominant squat, which we will get to in the end, right?
Yes, we will. Okay, down. What we're going to do here is pause, hold, flex slow out of the bottom. There you go, there you go. Nice. Do it again. Down. Stay there. Back up. Nice. Nice. You can see the fibers through. Keep going. 2 more. Hold. Up. Nice. 1 more. Take it down, take it down, take it down. Up slowly. Now on this one, Brice, I want you to show the people an explosion. Boom! There you go. Walk it in.
Why'd you tell them last one to explode versus the first ones when you were just kind of setting them in? Was that just for the people at home to
This
kind of
is
show
more
the
for the
difference
people.
in thought process?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just so they can actually see. Because anytime you do something like this, it's like, why do you always use the box? Well, a couple reasons. It's showing you that's a 12-inch box, and especially for you, you're a big boy. And so this is actually even a little too low for you.
Yeah.
But we love range of motion, and we love pushing it.
Well, we like the challenging part of it.
Exactly.
And we've had, you're 6'2.5", almost 6'3". We've had 6'3", 6'4" guys on this same level box. We've had shorter guys. So again, it's gauging your depth, but it's consistency, what you're hitting over and over and over and over again.
And then with this, you could see the fibers, the muscles just shaking and moving through the first 4 or 5 reps. And what we'll do is we'll just do 5 sets of 5 or 7 sets of 5 in that range as we're training. We do keep the reps lower the majority of the time, but we still, like you know, we still hit the high reps as well at every 2 or 3 weeks.
I'm gonna challenge y'all. Go in reverse mode. Go look at those first couple reps where Brice was slow and controlled and coming out of the box, and look at the fibers kind of twinging in the legs, and then watch the fibers when he burst out on the last one. You're going to see the dynamic of the muscle working so much more severely when it's slow and controlled pressing through the muscle versus when you just pop out of the hole. Because when you pop out of the hole, there's low back involved, there's upper back involved, there's calves, there's so many other things involved that are taking strain and stress off those thighs. So you'll see the difference in those 2 different types of movements.
All right, we're going to try one more here.
Put your Mark Bell hip circle on.
Little Mark Bell action going down. All right. Pick it up strong, step back strong, everything. Good, step back. Now force those knees out even further. Let's go. Down, hold, up, again. Up, again. There's 3. We're going to go 2 more. Good. Go. Knees out. And last one. Take it down. Knees out. Up. Slow. Great job. Walk it in.
Hip circle, glute activation. Why'd you throw it on him now?
Do we all have weak points?
Absolutely freaking lutely.
And if we can work on the weak points, does it make our strong points better?
Absolutely.
Okay, so one of the things that Brice has, and I notice a lot of people do this, is when they're squatting, their knees buckle in. And you know this now, training with me long enough, we're in such a crazy power position and also a safer position, and also it strengthens our knees up so much more by forcing them out and open. And at no point do they dive in. As we get older, you're going to notice this with people. These little quirky things that you'll notice that people's knees start bending in more and more and more. The deterioration of those knees. And
or even more importantly for the younger athletes that weren't how to squat properly from the jump, most time weak groin, or yes, even hear this, weak back, are going to make those knees cave in. So I think the principle that Mike would probably be screaming is go backwards to go forwards. We've seen so many guys in the Mecca that literally you'll take a plate or maybe even sometimes 2 plates off their squat, get their knees going out to where their glutes are flexed, and then before you know it, they're not just at 4 plates on each side, they're at 5 plates because they went backwards to go forward. So the details, we put the hip circle on B, and those were his best squats from all the previous sets. His knees didn't cave at all from one little trick. So Mark Bell, we love you, brother. Well, Mike loves you. I tolerate you. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Headman,
bringing
back the 80s.
And you've got a huge head. So
all right, we're going to do a change up here. We're going to try a little different squat. We're going to go high bar squat.
Yep.
And we're going to bring in the feet. So this will be more for you guys that do Olympic lifting or CrossFit. This is what this squat would be for. All right. All right. So you can see this is where his feet were for the first 2 squats. 3 squats, actually. So now what we're going to do is bring those feet in. Nice job. Nice job. All right. Knees are still kind of come out and go. Begin. Knees open. Knees open. You can still see that I'm making these come out. Again, up. Just give me 5. Brice, go straight through this thing. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. Take your time. Flex through. Alan, jump around here on the back. Watch where the bar is this time. Nice. Keep going. Good. Couple more. Knees, knees, everything. 1 more. No relaxing. Up. Walk it in. Okay, go under, go low bar. Pick it up. So you can see where the bar is resting. It's on the rear delts and on the mid traps. This is where it is. Take it down. Now, put it on the traps and stand up. This is the second position. This is a high bar squat. This is more for bodybuilding or Olympic lifting. Nice job, B.
all right, not only did you change bar positioning, you changed his feet.
Yep.
Toes were straight ahead. Heels were what? 6, 8 inches apart?
Right in that range.
All right, so thought process of the teaching for the foot placement as well as the high bar.
Okay, the great thing here is this. There's all types of different squats, and I recommend doing all of them. That way you can keep
In
your
the
hips
in the
loose.
same day.
Not-
So would you program what we just did in the traditional box squat with this narrow squat that we're getting ready to see?
Not in the same day.
Okay.
Not in the same day. My foundation is the power squat,
Yep.
which I just call the squat, and that was the first thing that we did. This is more of a quad dominant squat now. We put the bar up high, so that's going to take some of the glute and hamstrings out of it.
Right.
And you're going to notice this with Olympic lifters. When you watch Olympic lifters, front squats or high bar squats,
Yep.
and they're quad dominant, and their glutes and hamstrings,
Yep.
straight line. Then you watch bodybuilders that will also do high bar squats, and they got incredible quads. And then you go to power lifters, and power lifters, even if they're heavy or whatever it is, they got these round booties,
Yep.
because that's where that power is coming from. And then the athletes are the same way. I don't care if you're a thin athlete playing wide receiver, they still got those booties
Absolutely.
because it's glute and hamstring. So let's mix it all together. Let's change it all up. All of them are great, used properly.
Absolutely. Think about this. When you go to a high bar squat, the leverage point on your back, if you were going to try to do what we would call a glute or a hamstring squat where Brice's legs were wider, that high bar is going to leverage you forward and it's going to put a lot of strain and stress. So a high bar squat almost forces you to be more of a quad squat, which you just saw here. So if you were trying to be an athletic squatter like you see Mike in all his videos where his butt gets back, hamstrings and glutes are locked in a powerful position, high bar squat is not going to be the best position because it will leverage you forward in a way that's not going to be comfortable on your neck or really put you in a position to be strong with your hips, your glutes, and your hamstring. So make sure your position of your bar is matching what you're trying to accomplish with your legs. If it's quad dominant, go ahead and set that sucker a little higher, high bar. If it's more of glute hamstring power squat that he calls it, then obviously a little lower, so you can have a better leverage point for that weight on your back.
Nice. All right, Brice, front squats. Pick it up strong, step back. Good, feet are good, bend the knees out. 5 reps. Balance. Go again. Nice, Pete. Go again. Couple more. One more. Nice. Wrap it for a second.
All right, lots to talk, lots to coach. Front squat. Let's first of all, people have probably seen a lot of different hand placements on squats. Some people can get in the rack position. You have Brice with the cross position. Talk through the rack position first.
Okay, so if you can pick it up like an Olympic lifter,
Yep.
rock and roll. It puts more pressure on my back holding the weights up relative to my elbows holding it up.
Gotcha.
So that's one thing. That's for me. Again, it's a range of motion stuff. I got 21-inch arms, so it is hard for these bad boys to reach all the way back and do this. And Brice, I want just more back development as he's doing this, because that's the one thing people forget about. Brice does only 3 exercises, but we train
3 days a week of training. Right.
3 days a week. Each workout is 1 exercise, and that's all we sit on. And so during that 1 exercise, what is an exercise that trains more than just legs, more than just the bone density, connective tissue, and everything, that he can slowly get better over time?
Yeah.
And it's squats.
Absolutely, absolutely. So all that hamstring development, all that quad separation, all the glute hamstring tie-in, 1 day of legs, basically a week, 1 day of squats per week.
1 day a week,
Yeah.
1 exercise.
Love it.
I know this is confusing for people. They're like, wait a minute, you got to do, even in my programs I have that. And there's a difference between what we do, as I make a living from being in the gym in a sense.
Yep.
And so there's so much more that I need to be able to do. Brice is trying to be a superhero in life in a sense and try to get better as he gets older.
Well, world-class agent, has limited time to train,
Right.
multiple responsibilities, a lot of diva personalities pulling at him from every direction. He gets 3 days a week. Best way to maximize it, 3 exercises, 1 time per week each exercise, and diet. Brice masters his diet, which he can help you at as well. Let's go to the foot placement on the front squat. Narrow again.
Narrow
Right.
again.
His back, you were trying to keep his chest straight up, right?
Correct.
And then sinking more straight down than leveraging
Instead
those
of
hips back, right?
Right. Again, for you, being an athlete, your first tilt is the ass back.
Right.
And I don't know why this is, but people think the first movement in a squat is knees. Not on a power squat, it's not. On an Olympic lifting squat and on a front squat, it would be knees, is the first thing that drops.
Yeah.
And so this, again, extreme quad dominant. And again, everything that we're doing today, all these squats is something that's helping the body get stronger, not weaker. It's not deteriorating the body.
Well, and let me add this. So B has amazing ankle flexibility. Some of us, I have a plate and 8 screws in my right ankle, so I lack some mobility. So you have to find a foot placement. You'll even see when I do these with Mike, Mike will be flat-footed like you just saw with Brice, but I actually sometimes will put my heels on that red box. That way it will allow me to stay straight up and go straight down versus having to leverage because of poor ankle mobility. So find a way to implement the thought processes that is giving you, knowing that every athlete and every body, every physical body is different. So find what works for you inside the mechanics and the teaching points and the coaching points that he's giving you.
Now, we're going to do the final squat that he does, and this may confuse the public. So what can we do in the gym? I mean, you have a business manager.
I need a new one? Okay.
But you put money away.
Yep.
You put money away for the future. You got kids. You put money away for the future. You're trying to think about the future as you're living in the present. So is squats solely the present? The majority of it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's where we live. That's our foundational truth that we live and survive by.
And so most people, when they talk to me, they say, hey, so is this good? This is longevity. Well, anything you do in the day, unless there's something more to it, it's just temporary.
Right.
So let's exercise this year. That's great. And that sets us up for right now. What can he do now in his 40s, or when he first started with me at 40, and now at 47, his bone density is better. So he put something away for the future. Instead of being so focused on today, I got to get in, I got to jump around the gym, I got to make this heart rate go, and then I got to get on cardio, and I got to starve myself and not feed my body correctly. That's all temporary.
Right.
What can you do today to help you later in life?
So he just basically focused on your foundational truth. Hit the major, make the major, focus on the major, live in the major, bone density, flexibility, longevity, health and safety, no injuries, not getting hurt, all comes from mastering the mundane, the squat over and over again.
I don't know who said this, but I think I love this. And it's probably a Belichick or something. Don't do the basics until you get it right. Do the basics until you can't get it wrong.
The Bruce Lee quote that you love. No one's scared of the man that has a 10,000 kicks. They're scared of the guy that Bruce Lee's scared of the guy that's thrown one kick 10,000 times. So
exactly.
That's the greatest martial artist of all time. That was
Give me tingles.
Yeah, that's the philosophy he lived by. I always joke. Every day we do chest. It's going to start with incline barbell press for 4 years now. When we do legs, we are going to squat, 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 and squat. You've taken a guy that you've seen shredded to the bone at 47 years old, training 3 days a week, has mastered his diet, yes, but he's lived under the foundational truth of squats are enough.
Yeah. And this final one is what I call putting ourselves in a completely weak position. And this is something I don't want anybody to try with weight. I would rather you just try it by yourself with no weight. We are going to do a couple different things. Follow me along on this. Brice, will you pick that bar up? And it's going to be a moderate bar position. Step back. You're going to place your heels on top of the platform. Take it out a little wider. So you can see where the feet are now. And then we're going to open those knees up, and you're going to almost do a sissy squat in the sense of keeping your ass underneath. Knees open, take it down, go wide, back up. And again. Great job, boys. Couple more. Up. One more. Take it up. Rack it in.
All right. So I talked about using that position that Brice just showed us for lack of ankle flexibility, but you actually stuck him in that position for what?
This is one of those things where I go right back to range of motion. Where am I the weakest at? What can I continue to move through? I will never be in a perfect position. I hope that I will continue, mostly now being a first-time father. At my age, I want to be able to play basketball with him in 10 years.
Right.
I want to be able to do the simple, mundane Sunday afternoon thing. Now, with that being said, am I going to be able to use a proper power squat and then go out and play? Sure, in your 20s and 30s. Again, it goes back to my commitment to myself to be better in time. So at this stage, I want to see him play college ball. So in 20 years, will I be like Robbie Robinson, who's still squatting 405
That's
and 73 years old?
Yeah.
Can I be able to do that? And so what I'm doing now is really putting myself in a weak position to strengthen the connective tissue up more than the muscle. Because if the one is so strong, the connective tissue, that's man strength, your connective tissue. If I can build that up over time with light weight in time, that will pay dividends.
Yeah. And I've taken this in the last 4 years, and really, we get taught so many things. Strength coaches will read a book. Someone will say something, and then that something becomes law that's never really been tested and tried to see if it's true. And so when I first meet Mike 4 years ago, we do a similar squat to this, where 275 had my knees absolutely screaming. Why? Were my knees bad? No. I've had one ACL, meniscus, but that knee was healthy. It was just put in a strategic position where it was weak. Well, fast forward 2 years later, we're taking 275 where it was hurting my knee. Now it's 500 pounds on my back in that same position, absolutely no pain whatsoever. And so not only did that position get stronger, the squat got stronger because I took the weakness to a strength. And so Mike, if he does one thing excellent, there's a lot of things that he does excellent, but if there's one thing that I have always taken is that he's constantly trying to find a way to, how do I put this tricep in a weak position and work it there? How do I get my hips out of this squat and make this squat stronger, knowing that if he forces himself in a, what some would say, an unsafe position or a weak position, that's why he cautioned you, start with just body weight. And truly, there's going to be a time and a place where you start just with your body weight. But find that position, find the weak point, make that weak point a strong point, and then watch your strong point become a massive, massive strength.
Did
I sum that up for you?
No, you did perfect. And we're going to go back to the basics, is that squats don't just help your legs, it helps your whole body.
Yes.
And the one exercise, and again, we love doing this, and we love training, we love doing secondary work. But I just want the society or the world to understand, a lot of the time, less is more.
Absolutely.
And I know it's tough for us that really love health and fitness. I don't want to go in and just do one exercise. I understand that. But at times, you need to come down to be able to move forward.
Yeah. He said something a minute ago. This squat is such a massively important exercise for so much more than just legs. In a given year, you're on stage, 10 to 12 times a year in guest posing?
52 weekends a year, and it's usually half of that. So it's at least over 20.
Yeah. So there's a lot of times, guesstimate, because I know you probably don't have a firm number, but like how many days a year do you do like real abdominal work?
Very good. 2 months a year.
2 months a year. So wait, he only works his abs 2 months a year. You've seen all the shots. You see these pictures hanging all over, absolutely shredded. You know what the best core exercise in the world is? A heavy freaking squat. You ever see this guy with a belt on? Nope. You ever see me with a belt on? Nope. People say we're crazy. Don't do this. My trainer said this. The book said this. Trust the process. Drop the weight. Drop the belt. Work your way back up. If you want some beautiful, ripped, thick, defined abs, I promise you, this core exercise we call a squat, it's not just for your glutes and your hamstrings and your quads. It is for your core. It's for your lower back. It's for your upper back. It builds a little bit of everything.
100%. And that's why Brice staying consistent with the basics, got in shape better than everybody else, only training 3 times a week.
Proof's in the pudding.
Thanks, guys.